All right, good morning everyone. Thank you for being here so early. At least the weather is very nice. My name is Stelios. You probably will not be able to pronounce my last name, so call me Stelios. I live in Monaco, but I have to apologize that I don't speak French, so I hope you bear with me. I think Monaco is a very cosmopolitan place, so even people like me survive with only speaking English. It's a great honor that I've been invited to speak at your club this morning. Jean-Claude, who is one of my directors and the company and the foundation, has organized this. Thank you, Jean-Claude. I guess, let me ask a very simple question. How many of you have flown easyJet? By show of hands. Just about everybody. Very good. Thank you. So, what you may not know is that the idea of easyJet was born at the grill of the Hotel de Paris. I mean, it's not even there now, it's demolished. But my late father, who started a shipping business, a self-made man from Cyprus and then Greece, moved to Monaco in the late 80s. And in the early 90s, I used to have lunch with him at the Grill of the Paris and said, shipping is a nice business, but I want to do something different. So why don't you give me some money and I'll start an airline? And he was crazy enough to give me money to start an airline. And the rest is history. The company started in 95, 20 years ago. Something like 70 million passengers a year. Whichever number I give you, it's going to be out of date because the company is growing. But think about it, it carries the same number of people as live in France, roughly, every year. It's one of the biggest companies on the London Stock Exchange. So in the year 2000, 5 years after the beginning, I made a big decision to float the company on the stock market. That gave us the capital, the money to grow, buy more aircraft, become a bigger company. So I made a decision I'd rather own a third of a much bigger company than 100% of a much smaller company. Who knows what would have happened without that capital, without that growth. But I made another decision which is unusual, which is I kept the ownership of the brand in my private company. So I own the name easyJet, which is unusual. There are not many times that investors on the stock exchange give money to a company that does not own its own name. But it's a very nice income stream. It's a pension fund. It's my pension fund. When I retire in Monaco, I will retire on that pension fund. So easyJet, the company, pays my company, easyGroup, 1/4% of the total revenues every year. So that's a very, it's a low risk income stream. Because remember, you're not getting paid from the profits, you're getting paid from the turnover, from the top line. So again, with the same philosophy, I created some other income streams, some other investments. Nowadays, I don't have to put all the money myself. There are other investors that come together to create this other company. So the most logical extension after an airline is the hotel. So easyJet, easy hotel. People understand what it is. Also now on the stock market in London, about 21, 22 hotels and growing. And you know, that company raised money to extend the brand, always contributing to the center. Rental cars, buses, transport, gyms, low-cost budget gyms, not like the one up there, about 5% of the price. But very different, very simple gyms. You must have seen some of the publicity about the Easy Food store, which was this crazy phenomenon that when I opened a little store in North London, I said all items in the store for food, 25 pence. The British media went crazy. They were covering it all the time. There were queues outside because it's food and it's low cost and it's easy. I guess it's a bit like Aldi. Have you heard of Aldi? Some of you, yeah. Or leader price in France, I guess. So But even though I created some other income streams, some other investments, nowadays I don't have to put all the money myself. There are other investors that come together to create these other companies. So the most logical extension after an airline is the hotel. So easyJet, easy hotel. People understand what it is. Also now on the stock market in London, about 21, 22 hotels and growing. And you know, that company raised money to extend the brand, always contributing the center. Rental cars, buses, transport, gyms, low-cost budget gyms, not like the one up there, about 5% of the price. But very different, very simple gyms. You must have seen some of the publicity about the Easy Food store, which was this crazy phenomenon that when I opened a little store in North London, I said all items in the store for food, 25 pence. The British media went crazy. They were covering it all the time. There were queues outside because it's food and it's low cost and it's easy. I guess it's a bit like Aldi. Have you heard of Aldi? Some of you, yeah. Or Leader Price in France, I guess. So, but even lower. Questions next. Now I'm going to tell you a bit about my charitable, philanthropic activities. So, when I made a bit of money from easyJet, I decided I have to repay my debt to society. I'm one of these people that believe that wealthy people have a debt to repay, an obligation. So the first thing, we have 4 areas. I'll very quickly go through them. Scholarships, we help entrepreneurs, we protect the environment, and Fruit of the Heart is the latest one in Greece and Cyprus, which is basically giving food to people. So I'll take them one by one very quickly. On Facebook, by the way, can you go on Facebook and like our page, please? You've done it already? Good. So you get all the updates. So, scholarships? Thank you. 10 years ago, I went to the same universities I studied myself in London, the London School of Economics and the City University, and I promised them 10 scholarships every year. So this year, we have 200 scholarships. And this Saturday, I'm going to invite all of them into this room, so we have a big celebration. So coming back to my club. I'm very proud to be a member of the Monaco Yacht Club. But for the first time after 10 years, we're going to try and put in the same room all the people who received my scholarships. And the idea is to ask them to start giving back themselves. So they went to a good school. Some of them have very good jobs now or made money. They should start giving back. Now, every July, when the weather is better, I have my office is over there at the Ruscino, and I have this big terrace. So we invite people, and Monsignor is very generous with his time, and he comes to help with the fundraising every year. And we raise money for the WWF, the environmental charity. So if you like, this is a very good example of local Monaco charitable activity. Let's go to Cyprus next. Remember, it's a small island. That's where my father and my mother come from. Then they went to Greece, then they came here. So from Cyprus, it's where my family comes from. I still have cousins and aunties and uncles there. It's a very unusual island because it's about 1 million people, and it's divided 2/3 Greek Cypriots and 1/3 Turkish Cypriots. So it's a bit like Berlin. I don't know if you understand the concept, but there's a wall, East Berlin, West Berlin. Or it's a bit like Jerusalem, Muslims and Christians. So this place has been divided for the last 41 years. So 8 years ago, I started this project to give financial help to people to talk to each other. So 2 million euros so far, and I think something is going to change in Cyprus. We've been helping people, one Greek Cypriot, one Turkish Cypriot coming together. So people can come there and meet each other and get to know each other, do business. This is a speech by one of the people involved in the negotiations, but watch this space. Something will happen in Cyprus in the next year or two. I think they may solve their differences. Let's go to Greece and the food from the heart. And we distribute it every day to anybody who comes to our locations, our sites, to register without discrimination. Any nationality, any religion, any age, no questions asked. We're giving out 15,000 of these every day. 15000. 15,000 people every day collect this food. That shows you how deep trouble there is in Greece. So you go from the brilliant scholars who go to good universities and make money to the most needy in society. And last one, and then I'll take your questions. Can you show in Britain we support people, again back to the entrepreneurship, who have a disability and start a business. So were any of you at his presentation here at the Yacht Club last year? Jeff Holt, Monsignor was there, so he was invited by the Yacht Club because he is the only disabled sailor to have crossed the Atlantic. And he also applied for my award in London, in the UK, and he won last year, so that gave him another £50,000 to start his. He wants to start a round the world journey in his wheelchair. Can you imagine how much courage that needs? So that's another example of how we try to help people. And it's a good opportunity that he came to Monaco. He has the support of the Yacht Club. We all want to help him one day to be able to circumnavigate the globe. On this note, thank you very much, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Do you want to go first? Sitting at the bar, probably at the American bar, and I was writing down names on a napkin. So I said, cheap jet. No, it doesn't sound very good. Low cost jet. No, it doesn't sound very good. So easyJet, was the name I chose. Another name I was thinking was Stel Air, which is my first four letters and then Air. I don't know if it would have been better or not, who knows. But remember, the other airline is called Ryanair. So it has happened before. You can have an Irish name and still do well. But Easy, I think it's a great name because it describes creates an expectation about what people are going to receive, and it extends. Stel Hotel is not as obvious what it is, or Stel Gym or whatever.
And you are mingling between the passengers without saying who you were. Is that true, or is it just a fairy tale?
Well, I always like tales and legends, but at the beginning, I wanted to speak to my customers, and I was young and new, so I had to go and introduce myself, say, tell me what you think, and they had complaints, and I had to deal with them and everything else. Nowadays, I can travel without being disturbed because everything works very well. So, last Saturday I came from London to Nice. The weekend before I went from Nice to Bordeaux. Wonderful flight, by the way, if you want to spend a weekend in wine country. What the time is. And this week it seems to be all about the foundation, because not only this one, but we also have the scholars event. If I were to take a complete guess, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. So 1/3 the easyGroup, 1/3 the charity, and I still have about a third on other things, other investments, things you don't know about, like my properties in Monaco, other investments, shares, stocks, bonds. So 1/3 is other investments.
African airline.
Well, exactly. Crazy investments. But people know about easyJet, that's why they focus on it. I try to diversify. So I would say it's on 1/3 on the Easy Group, 1/3 on giving back, and 1/3 on other investments, which are safer and still need time. I mean, I have how many properties now? About 12 properties in Monaco that I rent out. So that takes a bit of time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Did any company follow your steps? People wanted to do the same, but it's like a snowball effect?
It's not quite a snowball, but can you put up the Tsurekaki photograph? when we started, you called it Restore the Care, by the way. That's where the inspiration came from. I didn't use the word, you used it. We're sitting with Jean-Claude and saying, how can we help? And he told me about this French charity, Restore the Care. I went to have a look. But at the beginning, the very, very first day, we were making sandwiches, literally. So I bought cheese, I bought bread, I had my staff put it together and hand it out. But that's expensive, because you're paying labor and everything else. So eventually I teamed up with this company. You wouldn't have heard it here, but it's very famous in Greece. So this is the company that makes the snacks for the kiosks. Industrial, big volumes, low cost per unit, and 7 days is a brand, it's a commercial brand. So they are promoting their own corporate social responsibility. I pay them their costs, and we do it together. But I think the good idea is to have several suppliers. I don't want to be tied to one person. So the next one, we don't even have a photograph, is with the chocolate bar maker. Again, you might think sweet is not important, but these people need calories. And a chocolate bar has a lot of calories, so it's good for nutrition. Especially if you're talking about children, going to school, taking with them to school. It's packaged.
And do you know if any other tycoon from Greece is doing the same? Is this like an education for the rich Greek people?
Off the top of my head, I don't know another individual doing this, because it's a lot of work. It's a bit like running a retail shop. You know who else is doing something similar, and we've also teamed up with them? The Greek church. The church is very, very influential in Greece. They have a lot of properties. So, sometimes we give them the food and they distribute it through their own systems. So,
Done this, are you, I don't know, thinking about going the next step and maybe helping the Greek government recovering from the crisis, advising them?
I hope you don't ask me to become a politician in Greece. That would be a disaster.
Free of charge.
That would be a disaster.
Because you're a very successful man, and they should use your experience.
The Greek government got elected on a lot of promises that they couldn't keep. I mean, let's be honest. What is it now? A year and 3 months. Young, charismatic prime minister, early 40s. He said, I will solve all your problems. 15, 16 months later, we're in exactly the same position, if not worse. So it's not that easy. It's not that easy. No pun intended, to solve problems. I would like to think that there is a cycle. So eventually the country will come out, through going down. At the moment, I think it's still going down. So eventually we'll come up. But the negotiation with the creditors is difficult. There are people in Europe who believe that the Greeks don't work and they don't pay their taxes and therefore they deserve all of this. Will they give a forgiveness to the debt relief that Obama was talking about? Who knows? But seriously, politics is not my forte. I don't want to get involved in politics.
But tourism is picking up, no?
I think some parts of Greece are doing well because of tourism. So if you go to Mykonos or Santorini, it's prosperous. There are a lot of foreigners spending money, making the locals wealthy. But you go to Samos, next to Turkey, where all the refugees come in,
right.
That's a very different picture.
Is this impacting the economy, this refugees crisis?
It's a difficult situation is made even worse, because a poor country has to now feed 100,000 people, I don't know, 150,000 people, who knows what the number is, but I don't know if you know the geography, but they start from, by the way, I mentioned Samos because we distribute this in Samos through the town hall and the church. But the refugees start in Syria, go through Turkey, through the islands next to Turkey. We have a friend from Turkey there, he can tell us more about it. Then they take the ferries to Piraeus and Athens, the capital. So there is people on the islands, people in Piraeus, Athens, and then they head north, and now they're blocked on the border with the northern border of Athens. So you have three hotspots: the islands, the capital, and the northern border. Who knows what will happen? Difficult country to start a business. So last year, we only found 7 people who started a business and they're less than 40 years old. Can you imagine in the whole country? So it's difficult to start a business in Greece now. We even started here in the Riviera a few years ago, but again, the numbers were so small, I had to stop. It wasn't worth it. So we advertised on Riviera Radio and said, come and apply, and you know. But it's a small community. You need a big, I think to be an entrepreneur, you need a bigger domestic market, a bigger market. So in Cyprus, we started giving, these are the winners in Greece. They started a hairdresser chain, hairdresser, Kofu. and they employed 200 people in the first 3 years. I mean, for me, that's a success. Giving jobs to 200 people. Control, is it in here? The control room. It's over there. Okay. Yeah. I need to go and have a look. I mean, anything that adventurous and new has to be applauded. I mean, it's incredible what they're trying to do. Now, if you ask me to bet how many years will it be before you can fly on an easyJet powered by solar, I don't know, 20, 30 years, 40 years? What do you think? Yeah, I know. I mean, you know, hopefully we'll be around in 40, 50 years to see it, but I'm going to use Bill Gates again, if you don't mind. He said once, people overestimate change in the short term and underestimate change in the long term. So it's not going to happen in 2 years' time. I can guarantee that. But you know, give me 40, 50 years, and you know, what were aeroplanes like 50 years ago? Remember, they had 4 very noisy, fuel-thirsty engines. And now, you know, in a modern Airbus, you can hardly hear them, more or less. I mean, you know. So give it another 50 years and start with solar cars first. Or solar boats, actually. Isn't there a solar challenge here next month? Yeah. So let's start with things that don't take off. that stay on the ground. So cars first, boats second, and then aeroplanes. The weather, you know, I wouldn't like to live in the Isle of Man. Do you know where the Isle of Man is? So the weather, you know, I was born in Greece. I'm used to the water. I have a boat. For me, this is part of, you know, who I am. It's difficult to live in a cold climate. Cosmopolitan. You know, the good thing about Monaco is that there are so many nationalities that nobody is a foreigner. You know, because everybody is a foreigner, nobody is a foreigner. Everybody is accepted. You know, we all belong here. We're all welcome here. Quality of life. I mean, the services. I mean, you know, hotels, restaurant, bars. You know, cars. You know, the sort of thing. You know, the yacht, the yachts, the availability of the yachting community. I keep my boat right here, the sailing boat. Every weekend I go out, I come back. You know, you can't do that from Kensington and London. There's no yachting harbour in front of Kensington, so it's very different. And I haven't even mentioned the fiscal advantages, which is probably 5th. But seriously, there are many countries that offer that and don't have everything else. So I think we should build on the first 4. I think it should be a place where people really live here, not a Panama, you know, PO box, you know, that sort of thing.